straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
Episode 122, the Everything Noob podcast. I'm Vortek. Thanks for joining us. And with me this evening, Mr. Dreadlow.
How you doing, guys? This is great.
And Miss Jemmy.
Yeah.
I started a guild.
In Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Oh.
We are gamers and YouTubers and streamers of sorts, coming at you live every Monday on twitch.tv/enoobs, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And are we getting ready, used to that time change? That was,
No, it never changed for me.
Yeah, you're in Arizona, so it's worse for you because now you have to start the show at literally a different time, and for us, it's still supposedly at the same time.
Yep, that's true. It's an hour earlier.
So tonight we have a few interesting topics to discuss. We're going to talk about, in no particular order, we're going to talk about EA and The Sims and some more SimCity drama, if you remember that. We're going to talk about Steam and some of their announcements. And the third topic escapes me because I don't have my notes pulled up. But there is a third topic, and I can assure you that it's awesome. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. All that and more.
What, just a minor note, you know. Just a jump scare coming.
Yes.
Be ready for it.
Bah! I was trying to catch people by surprise. So, first things first, I think one of the more recent stories here, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 came out in no time after the second installment.
And the first installment, really.
Yeah. There was like 2 months apart for the first and second. I don't know how long from the second to third.
The second came out in September, I think, so...
I thought it was November. No, wait. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I could
think
look
it
up
was
the dates.
the end of September, and that's like a 6-month turnaround.
So these weren't expansions; they were actual new games.
Yes.
Full-blown
I didn't even know that.
games.
I
But
had
they're
no
cheap.
idea.
They're like, $5 to $8 or something. So
It's cheaper on the tablets and mobile stores, but it's like
Basically-
$7-8 on Steam.
yeah, basically
the
the same
third one.
experience too between tablet and PC. So
Yeah, it
Or
was a
phone.
good port.
yeah, it's a fun game. If you haven't played Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a game where you're just sitting there. You can't do anything except sit and watch security cameras, and you're trying to. I don't know. I always saw it as a game where you have to do things in a certain order to win. Like you have to.
No.
I know you don't, but it just feels that way. Like you sit there and you watch the cameras, but you can't run out of power in the first one, and then if you feel like someone's coming, you have to close the door and wait for the animatronic asshole to go away, and if they get in and they get you, you die, and that's it. And the second one wasn't much different than that, and I don't even know. I guess the third one they put a lot more work into it in terms of the animatronics actually moving around instead of the strobe light scary,
Yeah. Where they're just there. They don't actually move, but they're there. Yeah.
like slide
Well, that's
shows.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Well, the third one's a lot more animated, and there's only one actual animatronic, though.
oh really?
The others are phantoms.
What does that mean?
Oh.
They're like ghosts.
How do you have ghost animatronics?
But they were haunted, and now, like, the haunting has taken the shape of the incorporeal form of the animatronic.
So are they animatronics or are they ghosts?
They're ghosts in the shape of an animatronic.
So there's only
So
one
they're
that
just
can
there to
hurt you.
spook. Yeah, they're
Yes.
just there to spook you and make you think it's the one that can hurt you.
Yeah.
Ah,
And also
so-
to, like, distract you and screw up stuff. So the one that can hurt you can get you.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
Mess with the electronics and all that stuff. Okay, I got you. Like opening the door on you and.
Well, no, there's no, like, doors to close on the third one. You close off vents because, what is it? Springtrap will climb through the vents to get at you, and there's vents, like, straight to the office. So you want to close them off so he has to climb back out and find another route.
Oh,
And
man.
they'll
I
come
tell
up
you-
and scare you and, like, put you in a panic attack, and then your machines start going down, and you have to restart them.
Wow.
Sounds a little more
And you'll, like,
involved.
see them slide across the window in front of your, like, office. No, it's a panic room. It's not an office, even. and you'll see him like slide across the window, and you're like, oh no, that's not good.
I think my prediction is that Five Nights at Freddy's is going to spawn another type of horror game with animatronics and stuff, and we'll all be comparing it to Five Nights at Freddy's, but it'll be a lot more in depth. It'll be you walking around perhaps some kind of restaurant that has animatronics or something, or museum maybe, and you have to go to the end of the museum. Maybe the whole story is you heard something, or you got an alert, you have to go check on it, and the whole time you're just trying to get there without getting scared to death. I don't know.
Oh, Wax Museum?
Yeah.
Oh my god! That'd be so creepy!
Oh, that would be
Abraham
creepy.
Lincoln's coming for you.
Yeah, this is like the third time we've invented a game on this podcast.
Nobody's done
developers. I know. That you said Wax Museum. That would be perfect. Some of
That
them
would be
some of them
perfect.
aren't wax. Maybe it's about a celebrity wax museum, but some of the celebrities who were checking it out when the place closed down, and they were like, uh-oh. And so they don't want to get caught, so they like freeze themselves to pretend they're the wax sculptures, because they don't want to go to jail because they were breaking into a museum. And,
And
I
you
don't
have
know,
to point
maybe
him
Gary
out or
Busey
something?
is there, and he ends up snapping and trying to kill you because he really doesn't want to go to jail.
We need Nicolas Cage in there too.
Yes.
Gotta have him.
All the crazy celebrities. We need a list of crazy ass celebrities that are
Charlie
always
Sheen.
unhinged. Charlie Sheen,
Winning.
Nicolas Cage, Gary Busey. Unhinged
Charlie
celebrities.
Sheen.
Leave some more in chat if you can think of any.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise isn't that unhinged. He's a little bit nuts though. Maybe Tom Cruise. Maybe Tom Cruise is the boss. He approaches you as a friend. You're like, oh, thank God, Tom Cruise, you're here. And then he starts trying to convert you to Scientology, and you have to somehow.
And then
get
he
out of
jumps
that.
all over couches and stuff.
What?
Yeah,
Did
he
you
was
see
jumping
that?
over
Oprah
couches
Winfrey
and
show?
Oprah.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
He was going crazy because he was crazy in love with what's her name? I forgot
Yeah.
her name now.
Didn't they end up divorced? Him and what's her
Yeah.
name?
Of course.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon.
No.
That was in chat. I'm sorry. That was.
I know that was in chat, but no. No. You don't want to be associated with that.
I would play this game. If any developers are out there, you better give us some credit. At least throw us in the credits. You don't got to pay us. Just throw us in the credits.
That would be so cool. Why doesn't anybody come up with something?
My other favorite game that we've invented on the show is we were talking about racing games, and I had said something about like we were all talking about how maybe that was like a zombie racing game, and the zombies could lose limbs, and then all of a sudden, like if you lose an arm, you can't. It's harder to drive the car, or if you get in a crash and your leg falls off, you can't hit the gas anymore, or something like that.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah, that one too. Gotta start writing these down. I'm lucky I even remembered that. I'm not gonna.
There
go
you
back
go,
and look.
indie developers.
Lots
That
of-
one's for you.
We should just rename the show Indie Developer Fodder. It's just a show for indie devs to listen to
We'll
us
come up with the
ramble.
ideas, and then they go ahead and build it.
Yeah. And it'd be very, it would complement itself because indie devs would be making all kinds of money and they'd give us a cut of it and we could afford to keep doing the show. Everyone wins.
Are the lights going out?
No. Well, going into some other news, some more sad news, but I'm also kind of confused about it. Maybe one of you guys can shed some light on it, but EA announced that they're shutting down the main Maxis studio, as I see it anyway. The main I always when I read the story, it sounds like they're talking about the primary studio where Maxis is like headquarters at.
Yeah.
So they're calling it, the developers behind SimCity and Spore, among other games. The Maxis brand will carry on. The studio that most people knew as Maxis is no more. So, hence, the main Maxis studio is being shut down.
So do
it's
they
just gonna
still
be
exist?
EA Studios.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Are they a new name or they gone?
The official announcement from EA said that, I could read it. We're consolidating the Maxis intellectual property development in our studios in Redwood Shores, Salt Lake City, Helsinki, and Melbourne. locations as we close our Emeryville location. Maxis continues to support and develop new experiences for current Sims and SimCity players while expanding our franchise to new platforms and developing new cross-platform IP. So, basically, you're still going to see Sims in SimCity. All employees impacted by the changes today will be given opportunities to explore other positions within Maxis Studios throughout EA. So people who are currently working there are probably going to get job offers for other parts of EA. Maybe not necessarily working on The Sims or SimCity, but they'll still get other...
Well, Maxis was just a company that EA had bought out, basically, right, in the beginning?
Yeah.
And they just, you know, decided now to consolidate up and just, okay, well, we got all these... We got a different studio outside of EA, which is really the same studio. Why don't we just combine them? I think that's what they're just doing, basically.
Yeah, they dipped their fingers into that and controlled a lot of the bad decisions anyway. So it's like, please, just put your name on it. Let's get it out in the open that the bad decisions are EA.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's like for instance, like Microsoft, you know, bought Mojang, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, would it be the same thing if Microsoft said, okay, we're going to do without Mojang and we're just going to stick with Microsoft Games or whatever they might call it, micro games, it's still the same people that are working in Mojang are still going to be part of it. It's just not going to be called Mojang anymore, and you know, it'd be the same kind of a deal, right? I don't know.
I'm thinking that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
we're still gonna see updates for The Sims and SimCity. I'm kind of sad though because this, I feel like, is a way of leaving EA in total control. And now we're gonna see like changes we may have not seen with Maxis in charge. I mean, Maxis has made, you know, put their name on everything. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but what if we just see double the amount of expansions that we would have seen had Maxis been at the helm? Because EA is money hungry. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe EA will go the microtransaction route, and instead of doubling the amount of expansion packs, they'll now have you buy the game, maybe add $10 to the top of it, and you just buy all the little add-ons through like an e-store.
They already started doing that in The Sims 3. Before Sims 4 came out, I noticed microtransactions.
Yeah.
Did you read the last paragraph of this article? It says in 2013, Maxis released an online reboot of SimCity that was plagued with all sort of problems.
Yeah, remember
which
that?
may have been what led to the final closure.
It's easy to blame SimCity, but I blame EA's servers for that. I don't blame Maxis themselves. Maxis was taking all the heat, and they were being really good sports about it in social media realms and stuff, but EA was renting servers from Amazon at the time.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was insane. I blame EA completely for that because I'm sure they were like, oh, yeah, Maxis, you can make SimCity online. We'll set up the servers for you and everything. And I don't know the relationship. I mean, I just always considered Maxis a company that was just within EA. I mean, EA is the publisher. And
that's what I thought.
Yeah. So shutting down Maxis tells me, oh, we're shutting down The Sims altogether. But they're saying, no. They'll still be The Sims. So it's like nothing's going to change. But maybe the name Maxis won't be on Sims games anymore?
Anytime they do this, you know, things change, you know? Because a lot of the original developers are going to say, no way, I don't like this, I'm leaving. And they'll form their own little company. And then they'll be stuck with some peon developers that, excuse me, I'm not making fun of the developers. I'm talking about, in EA's eyes, the peon developers that are left behind are the ones that are only left behind to deal with future Sims and future Sim cities, and it's going to change what the game's going to be like, I think.
It's possible,
in the future iterations of it. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's hard to say, but I'm definitely curious to see what happens next. Like we already had an announcement for a new Sims 4 expansion, like finally, after it took a lot longer than I thought. I know finally is not the word I want to use because I really don't like when Sims goes and makes tons and tons of expansions, but it took them a bit, and we got an announcement for one. It's not out yet as far as I know. And yeah,
and that's just it. They waited for them to get this thing done. They announced it, and now they got rid of the company. It was perfect timing.
You know what? They may have waited because they were doing an internal investigation, and that was slowing down development. Also slowing down their announcement. They probably wanted to kind of like... They planned it because they wanted one of them... They probably wanted this to go under the radar.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll just have to see. I mean, I'm not looking forward to Sims becoming a microtransaction playground, and that was already apparent in The Sims 3. They were going that direction. So,
but it won't be till Sims 5. Like they're committed to expansion packs in 4 already.
Well, they've done both in The Sims 3. They added
but
a
I'm just saying,
microtransaction store.
I know, but I'm saying you won't see the full microtransaction, and that's it until 5.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like it'll be like half price or free or something. People are like, oh my gosh, The Sims 5 is gonna be free.
No,
you can already
no. They'll still make you pay for like the base game, which will be even more stripped down.
On an Android, you can already get The Sims.
Yeah, and it's
on Android.
There's a SimCity on iOS and Android that's free, and it's all microtransactions. But yeah, Jemmy's right. They're not gonna do that for PC, but that'd be kind of funny. No, I can see that. We predicted, I think, for The Sims 4, we were saying, what if they don't go the expansion route? What if every little expansion, quote unquote, is just a tiny microtransaction, and before you know it, you've bought an expansion worth of content for like way more money? But it looks like they're going the route of not microtransactions, of expansions, like full-on expansions again. I just don't want to see pets come out as a lone expansion like it always does.
It is, though, and you know it.
It needs to be. It needs to feel like it's not pets. You know, it needs to be like, a vacation expansion. Also, you can have pets now, and you can get pet sitters to watch them while you're on vacation.
What do you want, like a farm expansion where you can run a farm?
Yes.
And then that also included animals?
I just don't want it to be
cats
so
and dogs
Farmville
and stuff?
meets Sim.
Yeah, it's just
Farmville meets The Sims.
It's so blatantly obvious. Like, here's all the expansions you already own, but in this newer game. Like, at least try to make it new. At least try to trick me into thinking I'm getting something new. Ugh.
I always thought, pets would be cool if like, just randomly, like, and very rarely, a pet will go by and you can actually, like, adopt it or try to get it to become your pet. And then, but it's just so easy with the pet expansion. You can just, basically buy a pet and it's theirs,
They put that in the pet expansion. So there could be like a stray dog or cat. Can you adopt those?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And like you pet it and become friends with it and stuff, and then you'll get the option if you want to adopt it. And then I remember in 2, in the pet expansion, if you wanted to be a werewolf, like you had to look for the wolf to show up in your yard, so you had to put a lot of trees up and stuff, and like look for the dog with the I think it was red eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was glowing eyes of some sort.
That I didn't know that at all. I didn't know you could become a werewolf. Well, that was in the pet expansion?
Yeah, in Sims 2.
In 2, okay.
I bet it crossed over into 3 though. They typically don't take that stuff away.
Yeah. So, okay. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. I'm upset because Maxis is one of my favorite studios. I know EA is their publisher. So it's walking a tightrope there, but The Sims is like my childhood, and I criticized them up and down for The Sims 4 and what I thought it was going to be. It ended up being, like, amazing. I almost took back just about everything I said because it turned out so good.
So, why do you think then, well, I mean, we've been discussing it, but if The Sims 4 was really as good as you say it is, why in the world are they dismantling Maxis then?
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know, because people have long since forgotten the SimCity fiasco. I mean, maybe it's not fresh in their memories, is what I mean to say. So why blame that for shutting them down? Why would that be your reason? Or maybe the person who wrote the article might be speculating that, but it's not a false speculation. That's pretty valid. SimCity was plagued with issues. So yeah, but shut them down after SimCity. Don't let them make another game. If that's what you feel.
Right. But like I said, I think that it was because they knew if they did this beforehand, they would lose they speculated they would lose some major developers that they needed for their expansions.
Yeah.
See. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. And who knows? We don't know if anybody's left or not. But it's obvious EA was probably
oops.
Was probably thinking about it, and that's why they held off. Possibly.
Yeah. I think in the eyes of the consumer, it's probably not going to look any different. But I'm also guessing that some changes in the background are going to be made that Maxis would not have made. That's kind of what I feel.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So there you go. So kind of sad news. I hope those employees don't end up out of work. But at the same time, some of the employees who have left other game studios end up making these amazing games. Like a great example is Torchlight. Developers from Diablo left Blizzard and made Torchlight.
Yeah, it made Diablo look like it just blew them away. Actually, they had Torchlight, the first Torchlight, which was just as good, and if not even better than that. And then they had Torchlight 2. And that forced, really, Blizzard to do something more with Diablo 3. And they've made expansions and done things to... And I guess from what I understand, it's a lot better now. I don't know.
Torchlight, I want them to make a third.
You say better, but is it good, though?
I don't know.
I remember dumping an insane amount of hours on Diablo 2. And in fact, I would go back today and still run through and play Diablo 2.
Oh.
Diablo 3, I'm over it.
It's endless. It's like endless. I mean, you can just keep playing, and it worked a lot better, I think. But Diablo 3 just did not do it for me. It was 8 hours of pure, just trying to get to the end, and that's all it took is 8 hours.
Do we all have Diablo 3?
If that. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I got it.
We should definitely play that together because I'm an asshole. I had a character. I was at the last level, and for whatever reason, I just stopped playing. I didn't finish it. I did not finish that game. And I was almost done. I probably had minutes left, and I just had to go, and never picked it up again.
You saved yourself from a very disappointing story
very
ending.
Disappointing ending.
Don't spoil it, even though I was hardly...
Well, obviously, we're just saying it's disappointing.
I was hardly even following the story in that game because I was just having fun with the character himself. Like, it was still a good game, even though they dumbed it down a lot. I'm the kind of person who likes dumbed down games because skill trees confuse my small brain. But after playing World of Warcraft again and seeing, they kind of dumbed that one down too, but there's still skill trees, and I started getting into it a little more, started to try to understand skill trees a little better. I'm like, yeah, I do remember Diablo we can kind of dumb down. Well, since then, apparently, everyone I've heard who's gone back through Diablo 3 says that the changes they made helped it a lot. And it's a lot of fun to revisit.
The thing is, look, what killed it for Diablo 3 back then was the hype and the length of time it took them to make the game. Because we were thinking, well, it's taking this long to make the game. It must be freaking awesome.
But
we're
it's
probably going to have hours
Blizzard.
and hours of content and all this stuff. So we're thinking it's going to be a great game, and then that's when the disappointment came. I think if they never really hyped it as much as they did, and they just put out Diablo 3, it would be fine. I think people would be disappointed because Diablo 2 seemed to have much more
Layers.
gameplay to it than Diablo 3, but I think people would have enjoyed it much the same. I was disappointed because of the fact that I'm waiting for this spectacular game to come out, and then the price, I mean, I paid $60 for it, and it's like, for this 8 hours, I'm done. Boom, that's it. I mean, yeah, I can keep playing again, but and then
I don't want to.
They offered this way of playing, or was that Torchlight? That might have been Torchlight 2. Remember when we finished Torchlight 2?
Yeah.
I think it was Torchlight 2. We finished it all the way through, and they still had much more different content that you can get into with your friends.
Torchlight 2 was perfect because when you beat it, you unlocked this like chamber, and you could purchase levels for in-game currency. You didn't use real money from this NPC. He just had dungeons for you. And like tons of them, like just this list. It's like dungeons they did, and they're like, this doesn't fit into the story, but it's awesome. And they just have tons of them. You could just buy and go in with your friends, and it gives you a purpose for all the money you have in the game, and it gets you to keep playing and leveling up your character and take that character through the next hardest mode of the game. And yeah, like Dread was saying, Torchlight 2's replayability was second to none in terms of like.
It was awesome. It was something that Diablo 3 I was expecting. Yeah, I was expecting it, but
yeah, I'm thinking we should all go back through Diablo 3 at some point
and see what they've done.
Yeah, just my opinion.
I'm just gonna. I don't know if I can start all over.
Oh, it'd only take you 8 hours. What's the big deal?
No, I'm
what
serious.
Are you complaining about? Like,
it would. Maybe I got something rare in there that was from the original, back then that they took out of the game eventually. Who knows? I might be able to sell it.
Well, you don't delete that
because they got the auction
just
house
make a
now,
new
right?
one.
They have the auction house now.
They got rid of that real money auction house.
They ended the real money auction house. Yeah.
It was causing problems? Okay.
Well, I just think nobody was really utilizing it. So.
Chat's saying that Diablo 3 is awesome now. So there you go.
Oh. Well, like I said, revisit it then.
Anyone who's revisited
I'm still
the game,
a super skeptic on that one.
Are they talking about with the expansion?
Yeah, I can't justify paying the expansion after what I paid for Diablo and that huge letdown.
Now, if it's Diablo 3 alone is good and they've made some changes that made it better, then yeah, that's fine. But it might even entice me to buy the expansion eventually. But I'm not going to just sit there and buy an expansion just for things that should have been in the game originally.
I was told,
pretty much.
I was told that you don't need the expansion. They just made updates to the game that addressed people's concerns and complaints.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh,
they
okay,
did do
good.
that. I have played since some of the updates are out, not the newest ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nothing really wowed me. It was pretty much the same shabil there, and my whole hate for the plot line. I have so many huge issues with the plot and the story.
I'm numb to all that.
Why?
I never follow plot lines in Blizzard games. They're just
you're saving yourself a lot of grief.
Fighting and fighting and fighting and dying several times and just trying to get to the end. And when you do, it's like, what?
I didn't give a crap about Torchlight's story either. It was just a fun game.
Yeah, I know. But this was kind of a struggle because there were some challenging parts in the game that made it difficult to get to, and you had to go through that in order to get to the next area, and it was just boring the hell out of me because there was nothing I could do to get through it. But once I got through it, it was okay, and then just I don't know. To me, it was a letdown. I don't know what exactly. It's been a long time since I played. I don't know exactly what the letdown was, but I know that the end was definitely a letdown.
Oh no! Okay, the big issue with the plot, and this isn't huge spoilers because this is all Act 1. There is more letdowns, but this is one that really just irks me to no end. So near the end of Act 1, the enemy is there, and there's the broken sword, and they're trying to make Deckard fix it. And he's like, no, I won't do it. And so they're like, oh, whatever. And they kill him, but he's slowly dying, and then leave. And then so you run up, and he's like, here, I'll fix the sword for you. None of the calamity would have happened if he would have just died with keeping his word and not mending the sword. But no, we have to do the dumb thing. And it's like Deckard Cain. He's supposed to be smarter than that.
And he doesn't know you at all, right? He just met you.
No, no. You saved him and stuff, down in the temple.
Okay.
He hasn't known you long. Hey,
He knows the other guys well enough to know that he shouldn't repair it for them, but he knows you well enough to know that he can repair it for you. That.
but it like screws everything over, and he was like going on about how like no, it's not a good idea, this, that, and the other, and he just does it as his dying thing, and it's really, like, you would have prevented a lot of bullshit if you had just died.
Just die
Like,
already.
Stayed in character as the smart old wise man and done what you were supposed to do, and just say your goodbyes and die. Yes, Tyrael would have never known who he was, but I'm okay with that. That
cool.
story makes sense. That story doesn't have people jump out of character.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
there's
a few
I kind of remember
things in
that.
there.
So I'm sorry. I'm asking Mojo if she got a text. I'm trying to do something. Oh, all right. Never mind.
So the Torchlight is coming out with a Torchlight 3?
Oh, I don't know. I was hoping.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I was hoping.
Oh, you were
would.
just saying
I haven't
that.
heard anything about that.
Okay, I got you. I was trying to figure out how we got in this conversation.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
I needed to rage rant on game plots. That's what needed to happen.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not seeing any news on Torchlight 3 in Google. I think there will ever be a Torchlight 3. That was in June of 2014. So, yeah, people on the Steam community are like, Torchlight 3, come on. Probably not. Womp womp.
What about Half-Life 3? No, I'm just kidding.
Here we go.
Oh, no. It's coming. Just not for 5 years.
Does anyone really care about Half-Life that much still?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I liked Half-Life, but
It was good. I went through all the Half-Life, Half-Life 2. Yeah, they were really
There's
good.
a whole
They were
lot
fun
of
stories.
world building and stuff in the universe. It's amazing. And then it ties into the other games they make too. Oh, it's a fan's like dream come true when it comes to plot and story and characters.
yeah. I'm meh. It's been so long. I don't know why people just can't let it go. Like, I know it's become
Because
a giant
the
meme.
story's a dangling participle, if you will. It's just like, what's the end of the statement?
Oh,
Yeah, kind of like you cut off.
I don't remember.
Exactly.
It's been so long. I have no recollection.
Well, you'll have to replay them all then.
It's
I
been a
guess
long
Won't
so.
you?
All two of them.
I'll do.
No. There's like episode 1 and episode 2.
I saw that. Is that like a Telltale thing, or is that expansions to it?
No, expansions would be the best way to go about that. It's a continuation of the story to 2, but it's more of like an expansion than a chapter like in the Telltale games.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. Whenever someone talks about Half-Life 3 and gets all upset, I'm like,
I'm waiting for Portal 3 really though.
Portal 3 now. That'd be some fun.
But we've already discussed that recently, I think.
Portal 1 and 2 weren't that far apart. But I don't think Half-Life 1
Yeah,
and 2...
they were.
Half-Life... Well, no, just a few years. It wasn't that bad.
No, it was.
It wasn't as bad as
just
Half-Life 2 to
years.
3.
I'd have to double check that. I don't know the dates well enough to call you on that bullshit.
Maybe it's because I played Portal well after it was released. Maybe it was a while.
That's
but-
probably what it is.
Because Portal came in the orange box collection.
Yeah,
Well,
it's been out for a while.
It was first released on Commodore 64, and then. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's right. So it wasn't that long.
Hello,
Now I'm
Vortak. Would you like to play Portal?
Oh, yeah. Portal release date. I'll look for it. Portal 1 release. Yeah, now I'm kind of curious. So, nope, this is not going to be easy to find. It should be easy. Oh, 2007. All right, October 9th, 2007. There we go. I was going to say, I thought I had to like go through that whole wiki. So
8 years
and then
ago.
Portal 2 was. I didn't look. Portal 2 is pretty recent.
I'm going to say.
Let's just not fact check all the way.
Fact checking totally derails me completely. This is why we don't fact check on the show. We're better off just reading headlines and blabbing about them like we always do.
Oh, if you go by Steam, Steam made those games, so the release date's going to be correct. But if you go by Steam with other games that you've seen, it'll have like current release dates, but it's not actually the release date. It's the release date it came on Steam. So you get kind of confused with that too. But anyway.
2011, April 19th, 2011. So 2007 to 2011. There you go. Still no Portal 3.
Yep.
We're getting about that time, though. So if there was going to be a third release, it should happen.
There will be. I'm going to guess, though, they are not going to announce Portal 3 until Half-Life 3 has come out, and they have their new engine set up, and Portal 3 will be on the new engine.
See, I just think that when these games came out, they threw at us the tools, and they said, okay, now go make your own stuff.
They just announced the Source 2 engine.
Yeah.
And
no, it's almost done or done.
They announced it alongside the Unreal Engine and Unity.
Well, Unreal Engine 4 is now free.
Or wait,
by the way.
I'm sorry, am I getting confused? Unreal 4 is free.
It was $19.99 a month, and 5% of what you make goes to them.
Yes.
Now they just completely took the subscription off, and it's now just 5%. And man, it's an incredible little engine. I've downloaded it because I'm going to mess with it. I'm going to try to make an everything noob game. No, I'm just kidding.
That is
have little noobs running around.
You need to make 2 so we can all tease the third one forever.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
So yeah, apparently the Source 2 engine was just released. Unity, I guess 4 or 5. The newest Unity engine was released with a different payment structure as well, following the announcement for the Unreal Engine being free.
Yeah.
So a bunch of engine news, but I don't get into that normally. I was going to suggest we talk about that tonight, but I don't know crap about engines or game development, so that's territory.
I play the other end of games.
Yeah, I play the other end. I know how to make a video about a game, and I know how to play a game. That's about
Unreal Engine, in its current state, is very noob friendly.
Yeah.
You don't have to code. I mean, you can. It's got
you probably, if you want some advanced stuff, you're going to have to.
But you make what they call blueprints, and these blueprints are just like. Have you seen a flow chart?
Yeah.
I know. What
okay, it's like a flow chart. You put these little things on there, and then you connect them with wires, kind of like that. Like, okay, I want this to do this, so I'm going to put the input here, and you just drag the wires, and that's how you make up the blueprint, and that's attached to whatever object you got in the world, and you can do quests, you can do all kinds of stuff with it.
That's the same kind of process for encapsulated programming for development all across the board.
Yeah, they've had people who had 5 days of training, and they put them together, and they made this incredible game where all you do is you run through trying to get through the it was a monastery or whatever, trying to get through the monastery before the thing collapses, and so you're constantly running through the whole thing until at the end the dragon comes and kills you anyway.
Is that why we're seeing?
But it only took them like what is it they said? Like was it 7 weeks? It took them 7 weeks to make this, and they only had 5 days of training.
Wow.
Never had any coding experience. They just went in there and did it. I'm sure they got coached, but that's about it. But that's the thing with it. You can also get coached. You can get information from their website. You can get tutorial videos, all that stuff. So they're definitely opening the door for young developers to start. So that's good. I like that.
It's good, but I mean, is this why we're seeing a new indie game come out every 2 hours?
No. This is just recently.
Developments.
This is just recently. It's like every 2 hours. Some guy just puts a couple things on a platform and says, "I got a new game. It's in alpha state." He puts it up.
I'm guessing they're trying to ride that wave of like indie is the thing now, and there's a lot of indie games that are actually making
could you
money.
imagine? I mean, they can make 5% off of every game you sell. They make 5% of it automatically off the top.
I like that better than all these failed Kickstarters. Because you have all these Kickstarters out there, and people are like, yeah, you know, the cost of the engine alone is this much money. And that's really in my opinion, most of their like cost, if you don't want to eat. Like if you have a part-time job and you don't mind working on your game on the side, you still need a Kickstarter to just pay for the engine. But this could really help a lot of those like giant Kickstarter goals go down.
And then you could buy
a
regular...
Sometimes they have to pay for artwork too if they're not an artist or are going to attempt it.
No, you're right.
And you can buy... And the thing is, you have the assets that you need to make the game. It comes with the starter basic set of assets. Assets are the textures, the objects, the whatever.
So wireframes.
They'll give you a monastery. But
they give you some stuff, but then the ones that you need or the ones that you want, you can use. You can use anything that they have on their shop. And it costs money to buy these assets. So unless you know how to make your own assets, you purchase them, or you can find free downloads of people who are giving away their assets that they've used in their games or whatever. And they're just giving them away and let you use them, you know, in your game or whatever. Because there's a lot of community involved in this too. So there's a lot of the people that are throwing that stuff at you. So you could use other people's assets, make your own game, and put it on Steam and sell it. And yeah, I guess I see your point when it comes to new games, early access games every 2 hours. That would be crazy.
No,
I don't know about the legality there. With those assets, you'd have to like check their website and make sure it was okay for you to profit off their assets.
No, they say that on there. Of course, you're gonna definitely check that. But they say there you can use this for your game, sell it however you want, or whatever. Some of them just want credit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they have their free packs, and then they have on their website some that you can buy. So they give some away basically, so you can give them credit, and then the people will look for that credit. Go to their website, see the assets that they have, and they can purchase them. So you can do it that way too. But
or pay a royal sum and have custom made by you.
Yeah, and now all the assets within the Unreal Engine shop or the Epic Games shop basically are all 100% free to use in your game. Because that's the whole point of the Epic Games shop. All that stuff is there for you to use. But you can make your own, too, if you're an artist or whatever.
If I'm a game developer, I'm not going to use assets that like everyone has access to, because you're going to start seeing those in all these cheaply made games.
That's what Rust did in the beginning.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, like you're playing two different games by two different developers, and you're seeing the same exact
Unity's
buildings.
Assets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
and then
No.
You go, wait, I saw that bear in Rust. It's in this game, too.
I've done that with indie games too.
I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, it just game development. There's a reason game development isn't this accessible, and you got to be something original, and that includes your own assets. In my humble opinion,
you got to save your assets.
Did you see that statistic? I'm just gonna blow right past that. Did you see that statistic?
We're blowing with that gas, aren't we?
There's about 600 or so new games released into like the App Store every day. Like some crazy number in the hundreds of new games released into the App Store every single day.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was like X amount of games every few minutes. It was like, what? That is nuts.
Is it just games alone or apps overall?
The statistic I saw said games.
Okay.
Well, remember the Flappy Bird thing? When that went down, there was hundreds and hundreds of games being made that were just like Flappy Bird.
Great example of that is a game called 2040.
Within a couple days.
Yeah.
Within a couple days. It was crazy.
Yeah. There's an example called 2048, and it's a game where you just have these tiles, and you have to get the 2048 tile
Right.
And I got the one my dad had, but as I was searching for that one, there was probably like 100 others. Same exact game.
Oh, yeah.
Just different colors.
Yep. I always I when I look for stuff on the App Store, especially Android, they have the little star system, and even if it says 5 stars, it's a lie. I don't know how they get it to say 5 stars, because when I look at all the comments, they're all like very bad comments on some of the stuff, and I'm going, how in the world did this get 5 stars?
Some people I've realized rate 5 stars, but then put an honest review, and the reason is they do the 5 stars is so when they do a super negative review of like 1 star, sometimes like there'll be some skeevy business practices to get that removed or not count in their average.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So they're like, oh, we'll put it at 5 stars so it won't get flagged by their system. So then we have this honest, like, this game is terrible. Do not download it. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to even go by. I always go by the comments because
I always read several comments. 500 iOS games per day. Flooded mobile market is tricky for indie devs. That's the article. I'm going to post it in the show notes. Yeah, they're just talking about how many games come out every day and how they can't all sell as well as Minecraft Pocket Edition, which I think is not even a fair comparison because Minecraft Pocket Edition is obviously going to be bought by people who are fans of Minecraft, and we're just talking about strictly indie games, in general. A day,
right? That's
crazy to me.
Not to mention, Minecraft Pocket Edition had almost like free advertising from Minecraft, like, hey, we're making a mobile version, whereas if you're just dropping your game on the indie store, you don't have any advertising. You have no clout, no social system to be like, hey, my game's out there. Get it.
Yeah.
Because Google's like system for discovery, there is no way to discover anything through Google Play.
Yeah.
I hate that I am forced to look at what everybody else is playing, which is like basically Candy Crush and anything like it is like what dominates, and it's what's going to continue to dominate. And it's like, this isn't what I want, so I would love a discovery route Google so I can find other things that are actually really good games.
You're absolutely right, and that's just the nature of the mobile market beast. Everyone's just playing casual little games like that, and so that's what's dominating. But yeah, I would love more filtering options, more reasons. iOS does a pretty decent job of it, but most of their stuff is just front page, and it's great. Like the pics on the front page are great, but I would love some better search options in general. I don't care about Bob's top picks as much as I just care about these are like Steam. You can go and search Steam by genre, by tag. Like the tag search is my new favorite thing. I go in there and just like I'll click a tag and just see what comes up. And and people can make tags for games in Steam if they feel like, this is a sandbox game, but there's no tag for sandbox game. Yeah, then that's fantastic.
Yeah, but then the thing is, you have to count on the community to honestly tag things and fairly tag things. And it works for Steam, but I'm not sure it would work overall on like Google Play because that's open to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So I am sad for all the indie developers out there who might have fantastic games, but 500 a day, you get thrown to the bottom instantly.
Yep, that's what happens.
Sad. But, I mean, that's just the price of technology and stuff getting so accessible. It's so easy now. It's like Unreal Engine, you don't have to code. You could just use their assets and you make a game. And whether or not the game's good is irrelevant. If people, help you promote it on Steam, for example, and it gets greenlit, now there's more competition. Or if it just gets on the greenlight page, and even if it doesn't get greenlit, now it's just there. It's just another game, mucking up the water. So.
Yeah, it feels, exactly.
So what are you suggesting? That it's like, look, unless you have a great idea, just don't?
No, there's nothing to suggest. It's just like
some people take advantage of the system. Yeah, some people could take advantage of the system. What they'll do is they'll put together just a bunch of things inside of this game and just put it out there just to try to make some money off of it, and it's really crap. You know, it's just straight up crap. But I mean, I'm sure Steam protects. I mean, they don't let you put anything on there unless they've actually reviewed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
whenever I see something that can be saturated, I start with a very cynical outlook, and it takes. I mean, I know there are plenty of positives to the fact game design is so much easier because now people with fantastic ideas who once didn't have the ability to code games now have more access, and we need those people to have access because there could be games we've never even imagined that someone else out there is about to make, and that's amazing to me. That's awesome and exciting. But yeah, what sucks is you can't tell people who are just, you know, making crap to go away. They have the right to make crap just like other people have the right to make awesome. So it's just a cynical outlook. It's just my cynical outlook on that. You know, it's just how I am sometimes, but it's still a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing that indie games are accessible. It just kind of sucks that so many people get to. There's so many garbage games on Steam. Just as there are amazing ones, there are just ones that are terrible and have no right being there. But
I mean, that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
If you want those good indie games, you kind of have to let some of the crap in.
It's just sad that people have to sacrifice to give it a bad review so that us don't buy it.
Yeah,
they have to sacrifice their time and money to try something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so unfortunately they have to you know, buy it before the review, and then they become the reviewer and say, "Don't buy this, it's crap. Don't ever buy this game. I wasted my money." But there is a refund policy, right?
I've never tried to use Steam's refund system, but
I've heard mixed reviews on their refund system. Like some people had a great experience with it, and then other people are like, avoid Steam's customer service at all possible cost.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I don't know. There's really nothing you can do other than, you know, take one for the team, so to speak. You know,
but
buy that game that doesn't have any reviews yet and suck it up and try it.
Yeah.
And if it sucks, give that bad review so nobody else has to spend the money to buy it.
Well, before we run out of time...
That's the only way to combat it.
Since we're on the subject of Steam, the other big news story was that Steam machines finally have like a release date, and we know a lot more about them now. And pretty exciting. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so we can't really cover this topic at its at the full extent it deserves to be covered. But we're looking at systems here that are going to be between $350 to $400, and Steam and Valve is boasting that these will do better, perform better than the PS4 and the Xbox One. So, I mean, in some ways that's a matter of opinion. In other ways, it's just if you spec the hardware side by side, they're striving to make machines that are better than those consoles. And the cool thing...
But...
What?
The problem is these games are optimized for PC. Any of the games that are going to be on these boxes.
Yes.
So,
but we're buying PCs
that means,
technically.
But you look at some of these options for a Steam box, and you're going to have to lower your graphics settings, so they're not going to be as good as some of the consoles out there.
I disagree.
For the $400 range, I'm talking about for the $400 range. But anyway, that's another issue altogether. But I mean, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at these specs on some of these machines for $400, and I'm thinking to myself, well, geez, you can buy an Xbox One. Sure, the Xbox One doesn't have the graphics card and all that stuff, but unfortunately, the games that we get on Steam that are going to be for these Steam boxes are PC optimized, which means that we had to lower our graphics settings, to work with these machines.
I think it depends
as opposed to those that are optimized for the Xbox One, which will have maximum graphics. That's the thing.
Maximum graphics for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
But they're boasting that it's going to be better than the Xbox One and PS4, which means like I don't know. You know, the max graphics will be for a let's just say GTA 5 will be better on the Steam box than on the PS4 or the Xbox 4 or Xbox One 4. I don't know what I'm thinking there. But the price point's the same, and this is coming out what 2 years after those. So and like this is PC stuff, so it's like that boast really is not very. That is like a buzzword to me. It just is meaningless. Like, yeah, that's easy to do. Like, congratulations. Here's a sticker.
I am going to commend the Steam machines because they're going to get to do something that traditional consoles do not do. And you're all talking about, oh, well, optimization for PC, this and that. If you buy a game on Steam, you, in general, can take that game and use it on anything that you run Steam on. You own that game.
That's right. That's true.
So if you buy it and your Steam machine is a piece of crap, you bought a low-end one that runs like crap, and eventually you upgrade, you don't lose anything but the old console. You buy the new console, all your old games still work on it.
Game is always there.
Work on it. Yes. You can't do that with the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. You can't take an Xbox One and have all your old 360 games on it. I mean, these are things that console developers refuse to do. And Steam is set up so they don't have to worry about that.
I'm just saying that you'd have to spend a lot more money to compare the games to Xbox One or PlayStation 4 because of the fact that the specs on the higher priced machines are obviously going to be able to compete with the graphics quality of an Xbox One. Yeah. But the $400 one is not going to do it. I mean, it's just not going to do it.
I think
looking at the specs.
I still think this is a great thing for people who perhaps their parents have a home computer that everyone uses, and they don't mind buying their kid a game console, but they just don't see building their kid a computer, an awesome computer. This presents itself as a game console and gets maybe those kids that can't play with their other friends into the PC market without really being in the PC market in the eyes of most consumers. You know, they see it as a game console. And you have a game console that's a PC but dedicated to games. So you're not going to have to worry about loading up, your hard drive with pictures and videos and all this other stuff. It's just going to be a game machine, and that's what it's going to do. And it's a dedicated gaming machine. So it's like someone in chat just said, like, this is great for people who don't know anything about PCs and just want a nice system.
Oh yeah. I think that's great for people who want to play PC games, and they're like, well, I don't know where to begin when purchasing one. I just want it to be able to run whatever game they want to play. Most people would be able to relate to. I just want a computer that I can play WoW on and it play nice.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, through a Steam box, you definitely can do that.
You can get WoW on Steam?
You can with the Steam machine. You can actually you add WoW to the Steam machine as a PC game.
Yeah, you have to install it separately.
Allow Steam's big picture or whatever you want to call it, or you add it to it.
Okay,
you can add your games, your PC games to Steam that aren't Steam games, and be able to access them. So your parents would have to do it.
Well, it wasn't that WoW was just an example, because I know a lot of people who weren't gamers, even PC gamers, who are suddenly now like, I need a computer that's better than what I have, but I don't know what to ask for. I don't know what to look for, and I certainly can't build one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
That's cool.
I'm excited for those people. I'm probably not going to get one because I have a PC and I'm good. I'm good. And I have an old laptop now that I'm using as like an acting Steam machine. I stream the game from my good PC to my crap laptop, and I play it on my TV. And my laptop can take any controller I plug into it. And if I want a Steam controller, I can get that, use that on my laptop. This is why I like Steam's and Valve so much. It's because everything is just so like. You can piece it together yourself, or now you can buy their complete package.
They promote synergy.
Yes, they promote synergy. That's perfect. Well, we are basically out of time, but real quick, earlier in the show I was trying to say I text Mojo because I had her screen a voice message we got, and I was going to play it on the show until she said, no, actually it's someone asking about OBS. You know, ever since I wrote this blog and everythingnoob.com about OBS and how I stream with OBS, people have been using that voicemail box to ask us questions about how to fix OBS because it doesn't work right for them. And I'm just going to say this now. I know you people aren't even listening, but I'm just going to say we are not tech support for OBS. I'm just a guy who knows how to use a little bit of it, and I posted my experience on the blog. That's all I did. We use that voicemail box for you guys to leave us comments about the show. We want to play those comments on the show. We want to talk about your topics given to us via that mailbox, and we will play your voice on the show. So visit everythingnoob.com. If you have a microphone and a computer, go to everythingnoob.com, leave a voicemail, and let us know what you think we should talk about. Or if you just have a quick question for the show, not OBS, then leave it in the mailbox, and we will be happy to address it live on the air.
Do you record the show on OBS?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Thank you for that caller. Next caller. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week with another episode of the Everything Noob podcast. Again, everythingnoob.com for your show notes and more. And you can check out this on YouTube as well. Everything you need to know, everythingnoob.com. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.